And welcome back, everybody, to a new live edition of the Wisemen Say podcast. Ty Fisher. Why can I not hear myself again? My word. Ty Fisher alongside Derik, Abbott.
Hola.
There we go. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Pretty good. We made it to an actual game week, which feels like, I don't know, a bit of an eternity at this point. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but
2 weeks.
we didn't end pre-break off on a hot start. So
No.
It's been, no wonder it's felt like a bit of a slog getting back to the season's kicking back into gear.
It just feels like it's one of those seasons or one of those times during the season where it's just like we have a game. I completely forgot that we're in the middle of the MLS season.
Sometimes I think it's just set up. I don't know why it's weirder this year than maybe some others, at least to me, because sometimes it feels like we have a game every other day for a long stretches or a lot of seasons. And I feel like this season we have not had a lot of Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday games, or it doesn't feel as condensed. I mean, I'm sure it probably is the same as it usually is, and I just haven't been paying attention, but it feels a little more spaced out. Maybe that's by design, to be honest.
Well, let's also not forget that we also crashed out of Leagues Cup, Champions Cup.
You know what? That's a great point, because what was that, 2 years ago or I think it was last year, wasn't it? Or I don't know, maybe it was last year, 2 years ago, where we reached the finals. Okay, we reached the finals for both of those tournaments, so it literally was games all the time.
Yeah, it was at least 4 games in a week span.
Crazy. Kind of reminds me of MLS's back tournament, if you remember that.
Oh, man.
Remember we had games Tuesday and then Friday and then Monday, so many games in a row, which at the time, I mean, we didn't have much else to do, so it was really entertaining. But that does, for players and even just us, just fans watching, eventually are we need a little bit of a breather.
Well, that's why I had 4 or 5 games in a day also.
That was kind of fun. I have to admit. Yeah. I literally had my work computer sitting in the living room and would just have it on the big TV nonstop, just watching random games that, usually I will only stay up and watch the random West Coast games. I don't dip into a lot of the Eastern Conference games, especially now. They all go on at the same time. But that was a good time. I mean, I don't really want to relive the circumstances that brought us to that point. However, for that one moment in time, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed watching the Crew beat FC Cincinnati 4-0 in the back of a Pins parking lot at Easton.
Yeah, right. It wasn't that down in Disney World or something like that? The World of Sports or something.
Yep. ESPN World of Sports Complex. Yep.
Incredible
good times.
Yeah, real good time.
I mean, anyway, not really much to talk about tonight, honestly. I know I was going to send you right now, but I just thought about it. There's really not much to talk about. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have USA, Sean Zawoski injury, and then Atlanta, pretty much.
Yeah, let's start off with USA a little bit more of the.
Yeah, did you go to the game
before? No, I did not. And you know what? No. I remember saying last week I had no intentions of going, and then of course once the game started, I was like, man, you know what? I really wish I would have went to that game. We actually went for a walk, and we usually walk up through the Arena District over to High Street and then back down through the Short North. And there were so many, and there's a lot of USA fans. There's a lot of Japan fans too, which I thought was pretty cool. So there was a lot of excitement in the air for it. So we haven't had one in a while. So that was really cool to see that. And then to see that it was sold out too. I mean, it made a lot of sense based upon the amount of people I saw. And I can only imagine when you get over towards Betty's and stuff, how busy it probably was over there.
Yeah.
Manuel could probably attest to it. I mean, they said sold out. Was it sold out, Manuel? Sometimes they kind of like to say it was sold out and it's tickets distributed and not attendance.
Yeah, not actual butts and seats and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah. Also, I saw Max's assist that
Oh,
put up. Oh my god, how
I
beautiful was that?
oh my god. Well, I saw it, and then immediately I had some buddies who were texting. One of my buddies was at the game, so he was texting about it from inside the stadium. And right away, I mean, this might be kind of bad. My first thought was, why aren't we ever seeing those types of passes into the box from him and the crew uniform? Because I feel like that was like so spot on. Like it's just amazing looking. And I'm like, Max, please bring this back to us. This is what we need in the box. Like people crossing
Yeah,
like this. This is awesome. So I'm hoping that he can bring a little bit of that spark back with him. But that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I wonder if he just stayed. It's I was like,
Coming
all
back.
right, yeah, I'm gonna go home.
Cleared out his locker, threw everything in his locker in his duffel bag, and said, pieces.
I'm
Peace
going
out.
home. And
Bob said it was sold out. Awesome. Good. That just
I'm
shows
going.
we can sell out. We're not like these big
Yeah,
giant stadiums that they're putting these games in. They can't even get half the lower bowl filled. Like you bring it to Columbus, you're gonna win, and we're gonna give you a sold out crowd, which is what they want. They want revenue, right? I mean, you're gonna get it when you put games here.
yeah. I mean, I did see something about somebody wanted to petition to make Lower.com a World Cup venue already.
Oh, I mean, they're never gonna.
I,
They're not gonna move back on that.
no.
I do think I saw this today. That I can't remember who put it. It was Chris Doran or somebody put up how. I think it was Wilfred Nancy's parents, and you're gonna have to remind me because I do not remember. But his parents are two different nationalities, and one of the countries that they or a citizen or however that works in is the same team that Steven Moreira is playing for. And they're one win away from making the World Cup, which I think maybe for the first time ever or second time ever. And so there's already chatter about if that does happen, how can they get Columbus to be one of the home hubs for that team, where they get to practice and stuff like that. Because I know they'll have to end up going over to Cincinnati or wherever the next stadium. I forget, Cincinnati or Philly or something like that. But that'd be pretty cool to like host a national team here to do like practices and stuff.
I feel like it'd probably be like Cincinnati or something because I mean Cincinnati is what 2 hour drive, maybe a little bit less than that. Philly probably a 2.5 hour drive, 3 maybe.
I think Philly's more than that.
Really?
I could be totally off on that. I've never driven to Philly. A flight is only like an hour, maybe under an hour.
Okay.
So you know what? I'm probably wrong. It's probably 3, somewhere between 3 and 4, I bet, because Cleveland's 2-ish, and then I bet from Cleveland to Philly is probably another hour, maybe.
Probably.
Anybody who's been to Philly, let us know. I have no clue, like for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Chris Dorn.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh,
And we'll probably get like you'd see the players around town. I'm sure there would be like fan access to a degree.
7 hours?
Okay, I swore I saw somewhere that it was like 7 or 8, but then I'm like,
am I thinking Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's 3.
Okay,
I have made that drive before.
okay, yeah, I was thinking Pittsburgh. I did not think Philly was 7 hours. Oh my god!
But only roughly an hour flight, so
yeah, which is crazy. And you would think like Chicago's what 6 hours, 6-7 hours
drive, yeah.
Also, yeah, and it's a 45-minute flight.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh my god.
Sometimes though, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but there's like a certain length of hours I'm willing to sit in a car. We're like from Ohio, and so like, if anybody says Florida, who lives in Ohio taken the drive to Florida before some point in your life? But in reality, I'm like, I could do 3 to 4 hours, but like if I don't have to, given the location, the hour flight is worth the cost to do it and the convenience of not sitting in a vehicle for that long.
Yeah. But I mean, overall general thoughts of last night's game. I think it was. I haven't seen any highlights. I've only seen Max's assist, but from what I hear, it was actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, they had a good showing. Pulisic was in on an assist. Is it Balogun? I always pronounce his name wrong. Balogun?
Florian Balogun.
Yes, okay. I feel like at this point, I know that they're really searching for who's going to be their striker. I just feel like in the past, I don't know, year or so, he's been the most consistent. I saw today a side-by-side of his stats versus Josh Sargent's. And, I mean, he, by far and away, a much better striker. When it comes to national team games, I know Sargent's been ripping it up in his league, but I feel like you have to start deciding who you're going to bring forward. I mean, more and more, I feel like Max is, I wouldn't say a lock because they're going to bring in the Euro guys in November, I'm sure, but he's got to be in consideration at minimum to come onto the bench or come off the bench. I mean, at this rate, I don't see any other way. I didn't pay enough attention to the keeper situation. I know a lot of people brought that up. I honestly don't know if Schulte's still in contention in that pool of keepers. I mean, I hope so. I did see someone floating around Zach Steffen's name again, which, near and dear to our hearts. So that would be great. I think that's going to be a very interesting battle, but I thought they played well. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the chat definitely probably has a better grasp of it than I do, but Japan's no slouches. I mean, I think they're a relatively good team, all things considered, or at least near our level in playing. So I think it was a really good litmus for how that team can play when everyone's playing, cohesively.
Yeah.
Freeze looks strong. Looks like it's his spot to lose. I mean,
I think so. Also, I think I'm on par with what Manuel said, because if you look at what was it that we were playing where we were in penalties? Was that Gold Cup? I think it was, where I can't remember who we played on.
I would think it would have to be, right?
That was
one of the more recent ones that we were in.
Yeah. I mean, he's solid. I mean, he's solid for New York City as well. But I think the bigger stage, I think he gets a little bit more of a adrenaline rush to perform well with the USA on a bigger stage than an MLS play. So I do think that Matt Freese should be the number one. Heading into the World Cup, but then again, you also have to tie in Ethan Horvath, possibly Matt Turner again, Zach Steffen, Patrick, Roman Celentano, all these guys. You know what I mean?
I would think unless they're really sold on Freese going forward, which maybe could be the case, but you have enough time to maybe. I mean, you can't have all of them. There's not enough time for all of them to have a chance. So he's got to at least narrow it down to a few of them for these next, how many? I'm not even sure how many games we have to go before they get to that point. I know they just announced 2 or 3 more of them coming up at the end of the year, but it is getting close. They're definitely, and I would think Freese having that opportunity last night shows, kind of the faith they have in him to kind of take that spot. And seeing Bob says that Japan is 17 in the world, but played their B team against USA. That's fine.
I did hear that. I did hear they played a bunch of bench players last night.
I mean, I don't feel this way, but there's a lot of U.S. Men's national team fans that would argue playing the MLS players, or a bulk of them, is considered our B team. So I'm going to choose to believe that. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes for the official roster, but he seems to speak highly of MLS, for better or worse, for those that have strong opinions on it. But at least for this one moment when we were all very, I would say, negative on how the team was, the trajectory they were going in, we'll, take the positives of it, and hopefully we can build off of that with whoever they decide to keep bringing in.
Do you think Pochettino is the right person for the job, given the result against South Korea, and everything else recently given result-wise in these friendlies? Do you still think that Pochettino is the right man for the job?
I would. It's tough because when I heard that there was a chance we could get Klopp, I don't know how serious that was, or Klopp, that I was all on board on that.
Yeah.
Also, as a Liverpool fan, very on board with that. Also, I'm sure the price tag was relatively too high in the first place for him to actually go do that. But when we got him, I was really excited because of his experience, how it's been going so far. I mean, I got to be honest, it doesn't really feel like it feels like we could do better than what we're doing. And I think you've got players that, everybody's kind of questioning and that type of thing. But I think, as a leader, you want to get somebody in there who can rally them. I don't know that's really happening necessarily right now. But I also, to flip that, I don't know if it matters because I think that there's just not enough time to bring somebody in at this point. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know what that turnaround's been in the past, especially leading up to a World Cup, one where we're hosting. I can see why they would maybe want to make a change because we're hosting it. But just from a straight, does it make sense standpoint for less than a year to go? I think you probably kind of got to roll with him, at least for that. I mean, depending on how that goes, that's ultimately going to be his, whether he has job security or not is going to be strictly based on how they perform there if he makes it to that point. Yeah. I would say that's what you got to roll with. My confidence isn't necessarily too high, but I would love to be proven wrong. Absolutely. Plus, his buyout would be astronomical. Do we know? Sometimes in college football, you kind of know what the buyouts are. NFL, you never know these things, but in college football, it's kind of made public. I would imagine in national team and how all that's kind of run in FIFA, they probably don't know that, and I don't know that we're not some giant European juggernaut where you can just kind of fire coaches at will and all those things. Yeah. But they're all about the bottom line dollars, so I don't know if they're going to be willing to part ways with a decent sum of millions to make that in the first place. But I'm sure there's probably, I bet his contract only runs till the end of the World Cup, if I had to guess. I mean,
I would think so. Because they hired him last year today.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that. Okay. Wow.
Ironically, I just saw it literally as I'm scrolling Twitter right now.
Interesting.
That it was, where'd it go? Twitter's acting up for me. Dude, all my stuff has been acting up so bad for me.
I put a spell on it where it's you and not me this week.
It's running so slow.
I was having issues with my work. So it was my internet just yesterday, and I was like, oh no, it's trickled over to now work as well.
But yeah, no, I did see literally just a minute ago that it was a year ago today that the U.S. 17 named Pochettino head coach.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. One slight negative piece of commentary coming out of U.S. 17 camp: our loss of Sean Zawadzki.
Ugh.
What a perfect segue, Manuel.
Yes, thank you. I mean, that's the alternate side of the whole thing of calling up MLS players, having it be in Columbus. Not that made any difference on if they were going to call up Sean or not, but as soon as that happened, I'm like, whoa, we need him. No, just all of the, kind of anger and depression and all that kind of runs through your head as you read that. And yeah, being out 3 to 6 weeks, I mean, that's effectively end of season, more or less. I mean, we're pretty dang close. If you go to the 6 week side of things, you're talking about him coming back last game, playoffs if we're there type scenario. 3 weeks would be preferred, but they're never going to tell us what the actual injury was. So we probably won't get a real extensive thing on that. But I mean, what was that like day 1 of training?
I think so. Yeah.
That's just so brutal. All I saw was like all these photos of all the national team players walking into practice or going into the facility up at Old Crew Stadium, and then like the little blurb under it saying that he is out with a knee injury, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
I think 6, maybe heading into playoffs, if we get to the playoffs, would be the end timeline. I mean, look how long Darlington Nagbe has been out with a torso injury.
He did practice today. I saw.
And then I did see that he's available for selection. He would have been available for selection against Red Bulls, but wanted to give him a little bit more time. So, I mean, we see how far the window is for recovery that Nancy gives the players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that, somebody before then would have rushed him back in 3 weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks, but it kind of shows the do you have people talking in the background?
No, it's the other room. It's the TV in the other room.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just like, wait, because sometimes this microphone picks up like my TV living room.
No,
when it's so down. But you see how kind of careful Nancy is with rushing guys back too soon than say like 3G or Porter did back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I'm sure players appreciate that too, to be honest, because ultimately it's a 50-50 decision. Everyone has to kind of agree on it, but players feel the pressure to be pushed back. I'm sure in most cases, we don't hear about it, but in most cases, I would imagine a player's can like, okay, I got to get out there, or to their own detriment, push themselves to get out there when really they should be waiting another week or two. So overall, from a long-term sustainability, that's a good thing, but poor timing, for all of it to happen, of course.
Yeah. Connor says, I wouldn't worry about Sean's injury too much. I feel like we'll get bounced first round of the playoffs. Hope I'm wrong, and we're competitive this year since we didn't have the CONCACAF run.
Connor, come on. You're killing me. Wait till we get there first.
I hope we don't get bounced first round.
Now, the way the seeding would be, and I know this means nothing because we've talked about it all season, the positions get jockeyed around like crazy.
Yeah.
But right now, we would play Cincinnati first round.
And honestly, I've had talks with Cincinnati people. They're not too confident.
Interesting.
They've
been re-signing, or they've been extending a lot of their current players in the past like week or two.
Yeah.
They've had like 2 or 3 of them extended. So they're rolling with this team right now. They did a lot of moves in the at the end of the transfer window. So who they have right now is theoretically a lot of what you're going to get for next year too. So that's interesting to hear, because I would have never guessed that they would feel that way. But I'm not mad about it.
So and the crazy thing is they just signed Miles Robinson to another DP contract, which means Brenner won't even be on a DP contract unless they move either Evander or Kevin Denke. They're not going to do that.
No, I don't see either of them getting moved.
No. So Brenner's only here to get them at least into the playoffs, or at least into, I'd say, the Eastern semis.
Yeah.
Right? And then gone again.
Wonder how much they're paying him. That's wild. Bob says since he hasn't scored in 5 games, is that true? That's crazy if so.
Honestly, that sounds about right.
Wow.
standings. The
Oh,
form
you know
guy,
what? I think Bob's right though. Isn't Brenner alone? I think he is alone.
he is, but I know there was talks about maybe buying him after the season. So
Good
unless
luck
they
on getting him to sign a non-DP.
yeah, so unless they get rid of like Dengue or
maybe they think they can get Miles Robinson like playing well enough that they can then sell him. Or if he gets called up to is he even like in contention to get called up to the national team again?
Miles Robinson?
Yeah. Was he called up last night? I feel like I
Not that
didn't notice if he was.
Not that I know of. I don't
But that's
think
a lot.
he
That's
was.
putting a lot of faith into that too, though. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah,
you shouldn't really bank on any of those
form
things.
guide doesn't go all the way out, which sucks. So we'll just look at the schedule. Okay, so they beat Portland, so they lost to Charlotte, beat Portland, lost to New York City, lost to Philly. So they haven't scored in 2 games.
They're not scoring a lot. I mean, that Portland game, they got 3 goals, but outside of that, it's been pretty bleak. They only have 1 goal outside of the Portland game in the last 5 games. That's crazy. Right? Oh, no, I'm not looking. Yeah. Yes.
Cincy?
Yeah. So they only have.
That's Leagues Cup, though.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That close. So out of the last 4 league games, or are those Leagues Cup too?
No, this is from Charlotte down as MLS regular season.
Okay, so they only have 3 goals in 4 games and 1 win in 4 games. Okay.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.
So where are they at in the standings?
Second.
Usually I look at the standings a lot, but I haven't looked. Are they in second?
5 off of Philly.
Wow. Then that's yeah, that's actually really impressive. They must have built a heck of a lead that I just didn't pay attention to, because that type of thing, that was us. We would have sunk like a rock. We have, but
yeah,
that's crazy.
Tyler, schedule 18-16. How do you feel about the crew this weekend? I couldn't tell you because I'm probably not even going to watch the game. I'm going to be busy. So I mean, there's that. I'd probably say I think we can win, and that's where my good friend Tyler Pilgrim comes into play. What a wonderful segue that was.
I like it.
Tyler, how's it going, buddy?
What's going on, y'all?
It's another day, man. Tyler, Derik, Tyler, one of the many wise people from Scarves and Spikes, the Atlanta podcast that is probably one of the most funniest, most insightful podcasts I've ever watched, next to Battered Herons. So yeah, hope you two can meet for the first time. So that's
good to meet you, Tyler.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me.
And just like that, I mean, obviously, crew Atlanta this weekend. Tyler, just what can you tell us about Atlanta? I don't know how you guys are doing right now. I mean,
it's not great.
So, I mean, looking at the standings, yeah, it's not great, but you guys just sometimes seem to pull out results out of thin air sometimes, and it's just kind of why.
Man, Atlanta has this weird habit of like playing to the level of their competition, and that's kept them kind of like just mediocre over the past couple of seasons. And this season, it just hasn't. They have not been on the good side of getting lucky at all, and so much hype going into this year, especially after what happened in the playoffs last year with Atlanta and Miami. And you thought, all right, new coach, Miggy coming back, Latte Loth coming in for a record-breaking transfer fee, and it just like all things look great. And then it just fell apart, man. Like the chemistry hasn't been there. The DPs haven't really been performing. I mean, Alexei Miranchuk has kind of gotten it figured out a little bit here when it really doesn't matter. But besides that, I mean, it's just been a tough season, man. Like they haven't been able to gel anything together. And here since the summer window, I mean, they've made some some changes, mostly with the defense and the midfield. You have a young goalkeeper that's coming in and really, really impressing. But as far as the 2025 season is concerned, it's essentially too little too late at this point.
How do you feel like when you say the team has played to the other team's levels, in those instances, and this is a lot of just because I'm not as familiar with maybe sometimes the end results of them, are they getting like good play and also, getting over the hump to some of those as wins, or is it typically, draw, or where do you feel like that kind of level gets at?
It's mostly been a ridiculous amount of draws. And I say like they've been on the negative end of it this year because I mean, before the past couple of seasons, they had this strange knack of playing pretty good, like playing, what looked like good soccer. They just couldn't have the final product, but then they would maybe go ahead by a goal and then they would keep everybody, squeaky bum time in the 80th minute because they would give up a stupid goal to let the other team back in it. And then they would do something crazy to maybe win at the very end. Like they had this kind of insane stat where it was like by far the most game winning goals in stoppage time last year.
Oh, wow.
But this year it's kind of been the opposite. Like they'll come out, they'll play the first 45, play decently. And then again, another running joke and a ridiculous statistic. They're negative. I think it's negative 16 at this point, goal differential in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Like they would come out of the locker room and look like a totally different team and just get dunked on over and over. I mean, it was like a painful joke. And so, and they've kind of gotten at least a couple of clean sheets, and I say playing to the level of the competition. I played Nashville right before the international break. Nashville's been a good team this year. You have Golden Boot contender and Sam Surridge, and not that far behind is Mukhtar. And they kept a clean sheet and won the game. Atlanta did. So it's like, you weren't supposed to win that game. And here we are. So it's just been very, very up and down. But unfortunately, and not to sound like super negative, this season's just been pretty down.
Fun fact, Derik was so shocked to hear where Sam Surridge came from.
Oh my gosh, yes. We were doing a watch along and we had like a full 20-minute conversation during the middle of the game about how they snuck him in, and it was like not a lot of fanfare outside the team, at least in my opinion. And he was just like on fire. Like the dude was just a stud, and I could not believe that they were able to get him. And like none of our teams, like we didn't hear anything about any of them looking at him. So it was very impressive to see.
Well, his first season, he kind of popped in and it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
But then this season, like he came good, and it's like, man, it's MLS. And so it really is. There is a thing for a lot of these players that they just don't settle in for a while. It's rare that you get the guy that comes in and just completely lights the league on fire, but he did it. Now it just took a year for him to get there. So
what's been the consensus around Miggy rejoining? Because I mean,
great question. I was wondering that
he was great with Joseph and underneath Tata Martino. Love the glass, by the way. That's so old school.
Yeah.
Goes over to
down here, man.
Hey, man. Goes over to Newcastle. Has a relatively a good couple years at Newcastle, and then comes back, and he seems to be struggling a little bit to find his footing back in MLS. Is that one of two things? Do you think it could be the way? I don't even know who you guys' coach is anymore, honestly.
Ronnie Dyla.
That's right, Ronnie Dyla. Who was
he was with New York a couple of years ago when they won the MLS Cup.
But Miggy was there before Dyla. And for this year, right? Or was he? Or did Dyla bring him in?
No, they actually all kind of happened at the same time. Like at the beginning of the season, you had Chris Henderson, the new technical director, come up from Miami.
Yeah,
so he was one of the ones that helped kind of bring in Messi and all these other guys. So he came up. And then I think it was like a week later, Ronnie Dyla got hired. And then I don't even know, like 2 weeks after that, Miggy got brought in. So it was like back to back to back.
So is that, do you think it could be one? I think it's probably one of these two things, or I could be completely wrong. Dyla plays a system that Miggy probably isn't well familiarized with, or maybe doesn't suit his tactics, or the league is getting a bit more competitive to the point where he's kind of trying to find his footing in a more competitive, more dynamic, growing league than he was when he was with Atlanta before, with Tata Martino, Joseph Martinez, and etc.
All right, so here I'll give you the Cliff's notes on Miggy. So when he came in, obviously everybody was hyped up. I mean, there were hundreds of people that met him at the airport in Atlanta when he came back. He's a legend here, plain and simple. And I mean, he still by far has the loudest applause of anybody when they do the starting 11 over the system. I mean, he people love him. He's also been playing nonstop for like almost 2 years straight now, more or less. And so I think fatigue is a lot of it, but I don't think that's really it's kind of a cop out in my opinion, a little bit. I think the biggest thing is the team hasn't been good. And so at Newcastle, I'll go back to Atlanta.
No,
So Atlanta 2017, 2018, Miguel Almiron played as the 10 and was freaking amazing at it. It was like his own distinct style of a number 10, but he did really, really well at it. Then he goes to Newcastle and primarily plays on the right wing and does pretty good. Like you said, I mean, he has had some pretty good seasons there. In and out, kind of worked himself in and out of the lineup. I mean, he was a mainstay for a while. And then for Paraguay, for the international team, he plays on the left wing. And so he comes back to Atlanta and he's playing on the right wing where he was at Newcastle.
Okay.
And so he's just kind of all over the place. And it's like if you watch him in the game Saturday, individually, he hasn't lost much of a step. I mean, he's still super shifty. He's super talented. He's still very quick. But I just think like he's struggling to find the right connection. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier. The chemistry just has not been there with anybody on this team all season long. He hasn't developed anything with Latte Lath, who won't even play in this game because he's injured. But that's the $22 million striker that came in.
That's new. I heard nothing about that.
Yeah, I know. All right. $22 million and hasn't done anything yet. That's the biggest thing. So you have this guy. I mean, he's still super talented, man. I just think part of it is he needs a break, but the team just has not been a cohesive unit all season long. They just look at moments like they've never met each other. And it's mind numbing.
Do you so what I've noticed from teams that we have played in the past 5 or 6 games, let's say, is that it feels like teams have started to catch up to Wilfried Nancy's style a little bit. And, he's always kind of talking about how we're implementing new things all the time, but in a lot of cases, the teams do a pretty good job of getting us into positions we don't really want to be in. How do you feel like Atlanta's defense has been, leading up to this point? And, what's kind of your outlook on how they might try to tackle, the unique style that Wilfried Nancy has that now that people have gotten to see a few years of it, kind of what they kind of expect is probably going to be coming at them this Saturday?
I think so. To start, honestly, objectively, Atlanta's defense, as it stands over the past couple of matches, has been the best it's been all season. In the summer window, they made a lot of, like I said, defensive changes. They brought in a center back on a long-term deal named Enia Mihai, and he's been here again just for a couple of months. He's getting paired along with our giant Thor Stian Gregerson, Norwegian, that is finally actually able to stay healthy, knock on wood. And they've been a really good center back pairing.
Bro, that's one player we got to look out for because he scored against us. I think it was last year, like in the dying seconds of the game.
Was that the match where he scored both goals?
Yes.
On headers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the game that Atlanta was not supposed to win at all.
I was going to say, going back to what you were saying, now they were scoring late and winning.
Exactly, just ridiculous crap. So, but so they've made a really good pairing. They also brought in another straight center back on a year-long loan named Juan Baracol. And then one of the bigger changes is they have a new midfielder named Steven Alzate, who played for Dyla a couple of years ago. And so all those changes, along with the not new, but the goalkeeper that's kind of coming in to maybe replace Bragduzan. I mean, they've kept some clean sheets, which is like gold for the team this season. It hasn't happened in forever. They have a couple of them in a row now. And so, again, objectively, the defense is actually playing pretty good. But Wilfred Nancy is probably the most patient coach in Major League Soccer, and his players play that way. And I think Atlanta has a really bad habit of getting a little antsy, especially with the way the season's gone. They feel like they have to go push something, especially in front of their fans at home. And it hasn't really been great for them this season. Like Mercedes-Benz Stadium, man, you know, it used to be the worst place in the league to play, and it has not been that way this year at all. So I wonder if Atlanta has the discipline to just wait Columbus out and try to use their defense as best they can, because I've said it for the longest time, Atlanta United needs to be playing counterattacking soccer, because you have Miggy, you have Latte Loth, not in this game, but Latte Loth is literally one of the fastest players in the league. In a straight line sprint, he's incredibly fast. But you have other strikers behind him that are also fast. You have wingers, all of them are very fast. And so they continue to try to play this style of soccer where you're playing out to the wings, progressing slowly up the pitch, and then hoping to God you can get in the box and do something. And it has not worked all season, as opposed to now that they have a defense that works, absorbing pressure, especially against a team like Columbus that's going to get theirs if they even have an opportunity. And then just trying to bend a little bit and then going and hitting on the other side. I just don't know that Atlanta is going to be able to do that, because they're so antsy at this point, because I think they know that they need results, even if they're not making the playoffs, because if they don't win this game, they're not making the playoffs. And if Chicago just wins their game, Atlanta's not making the playoffs. So like it's not a high likelihood that Atlanta actually gets anything out of this game other than moral victories.
26 points. Is that 5 off of New England, who is starting to turn it on, I guess. Recently,
I never know with New England, man.
It's Caleb Porter, first of all. Who knows?
It's always in flux.
Yeah.
5 points back for New England. But looking into this match, you probably already said them, but who are some players that Columbus should be on the lookout for besides Gregerson?
Yeah, the random Norwegian who the only 2 goals he's ever scored for this team.
Of course, first us.
Yeah. I think Steven Alzate for sure, because he's been kind of like the new dynamic midfielder. Ronnie Dyla came out and said, because he did play with him before, that he could be given some time to settle in, one of the best midfielders in the league. Obviously, we know a thing or two about the best midfielder in the league, as do y'all, because y'all know have him and you have for a couple of years now. And Nagby, Alzate, the early signs are good, but I am not going to sit here and try to be like, oh, he's the fix for Atlanta a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely, he's dynamic, and I like him a lot. As far as in the attack, Atlanta's other designated player, Alexei Moranchuk, has received like an insane amount of criticism this year, because he's the one playing number 10. Yeah. It's been rough, but out of the 3 DPs that Atlanta United has, he's right now playing the best out of all of them. He's actually scoring goals and providing assists, which is a lot more than Miggy and Latte Loth are doing. So you give him an opportunity. And again, if you watch his positioning, he's left-footed, and he has like a chef's kiss of a left foot, admittedly. and he's, I think, finally getting the confidence to use it the way that I think a lot of people have been yelling at him to do. That space right outside the top right of the box, man, he just has a knack for letting them fly from there, whether it's an assist or a goal. He likes to hit that far post with his left foot. And so if he's given some space, he'll take the shot. He actually just scored one very similar to it in a friendly for his national team a couple of days ago. So he's kind of maybe getting a little bit of momentum. So those would be the two, Alexei Miranchuk and Steven Alzate.
Given our history with Atlanta and specifically Guzan, but having this younger keeper who's coming in, who do you think starts on Saturday?
Bald.
Right? That's
No, I actually think it'll be Jaden Hibbert. Brad, it kind of seems like, so the front office came out in the summer, like a couple of weeks ago in the summer window, and said they've talked to Brad and he knows that they're looking for a new number one. And a lot of us and a lot of fans have been, shouting Jaden Hibbert's praises for the past year and a half or so. But it always felt like Brad, he was not going to be pulled from that starting spot unless he was injured or he was dead or retired.
Fair.
I think that conversation finally opened up the door so that Jaden could step in. And the couple of moments that he did have before the switch was made, like Jaden showed really well for himself. And then he got some starts, and he's kept some clean sheets, which is more than Brad Guzan could do earlier this season. And to be fair, like the issues with Atlanta were not Brad Guzan's fault this year at all. Yeah. But Jaden gives you something that's a lot more. I mean, he's not going to have the experience. We obviously know this, but he is so athletic. This dude like lives in the freaking gym. I did an interview and an article for him on our website last year. And I mean, like where other guys go home and play, video games, play FIFA, whatever, watch anime, movies, like these are all things that people say they do. He's like, no, man, I just go back to the gym. That's what I do. So he's like super athletic, and he's shown it in the starts that he's had. But I think at this point the decision's been made that Brad's probably not going to play until decision day. And I think because that game is at home, they'll give him his final run out because he's on the end of his contract, and I just don't see them signing a 40-year-old.
That's what I was going to ask as like a follow-up. Yeah, what his contract situation look like? Because I'm just thinking like the past few years, even when Atlanta's come up here, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is still playing for them.
Still here.
It's crazy. He's had such longevity, which is great for Atlanta and himself, but the father time catches up with everyone, and I'm always just curious, like someone like him, or there's a few other. We even have Evan Bush, who started some games for us this season too, where he's not, I don't think is up there in age as maybe he is, but been around forever as well. So was just kind of curious on that, like how much longer or will we have to see him? This may be the last time we see him versus the Crew, it sounded like.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you might just see him on the bench. I genuinely don't think he's going to start this match. I think it's Jaden's job until decision day, because it's kind of the writing on the wall type situation, And I mean, people have been calling for Brad to retire for 3 years now, and it's just like, dude, he wouldn't go, and he's been really good, but now Jaden has just been better.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes, right? You just need someone to kind of push him. It's time.
Yeah. I don't know if he stays with the organization somehow, like as a coach, like a goalkeeping coach. That'd be great, but he just got to move on.
I was one of those people calling for him to retire because Jesus Christ.
Oh, I didn't want to say it, but same.
40 years old, man. Like that's for a soccer player, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he could just go down to Miami if he wants to and be a keeper down there.
Yeah,
seems to be where all the old heads are going. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Tyler, last question, obviously, prediction. What do you say?
So I literally just got on my show, and I can't go and change it, even though I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in this match. I think it's going to be 1-1.
That's exactly what. Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Same.
It has all the makings of like, and I guarantee you, it's going to be Columbus is actually going to score first, and then Atlanta's going to figure out a way to get some kind of goal in like the 85th minute. That's just going to be how it is.
Well, 100% what I could see happening. Absolutely.
Our defense is freaking leaky in the last 15 minutes of a game.
Mm-hmm.
My word. You can't. And we're missing Sean Zawadzki. I don't know if you're. We're missing Sean Zawadzki.
Yeah.
So that's not fun. So now who is it? It's going to be Steven, Malde, and Yevon in the back now? Unless Camacho just absolutely...
He's been training. He was training, I think, today. I don't remember if he was off to the side or not, but he has been training, which that would be shocking, honestly, because he hasn't played I don't think he stepped on the pitch in any kind of notable fashion this season.
He hasn't registered a single second of MLS play this year. So... unless somehow, some way, he just, all right, I'm good. All right, let's go play on turf now.
Yeah.
And mess up his knee even more.
Yeah.
My word.
It's interesting, too. I say a draw. I just feel like this is going to be a draw. I don't think these two teams have had a draw against each other in like 3 years or 4 years or something. But it just feels like this is going to be a draw.
It's surprising, too, because I feel like we became accustomed to like draws or just very like games that feel like a slog where maybe one team wins 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that. But especially when the Crew go down to Atlanta, like we do not play well typically on the turf, like for whatever reason in that particular stadium, like the results haven't been necessarily great other than, the one playoff one eons ago now and some here and there. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's feels like a draw game.
Yeah.
You guys are wearing your away kits.
Yep.
At home.
That always makes everybody happy. Is
that a common thing?
It happens probably more often than I would like. I mean, I actually like that kit. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but like I'm also like maybe a little traditionalist and I just want to wear that kit away. The home kit at home. So, but it happens pretty often.
I was going to say, like, I always think of Atlanta when we play down there as wearing the red kits.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, up here, I don't know if you agree with this, Ty, but every year we get, like, a new kit. And I would say 9 times out of 10, everyone's like, these are really cool. Hopefully we wear them a bunch. Like, right now, technically, our away one is the Goosebumps kit. But then everyone's like, we all want us to wear the Goosebumps kit all the time because it's cool. But technically, it's the away one. So we've just become accustomed to, like, it doesn't feel like there's ever like a real rhyme or reason as to why we're wearing certain ones. But whenever I think of Atlanta, I'm like, oh, it's the red one. Like they're going to be wearing the red one at home for
sure. Last draw was October 7th of 2023.
That was that playoff series, I believe.
No, this is regular season.
Or was it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh.
And then... because you guys beat us in the playoffs. 4-2. Because what's his face got a brace? I think it was.
Yeah, Almada? That was on the second leg.
Was it Tiago? Was it Almada? They got a brace.
It probably was Almada. I mean, if I'm trying to go back and look at that specific game, but where's it at here?
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, it was actually just a handful of.
It was just random dudes just scoring goals.
Just dudes. Just dudes scoring goals.
That was when we had Giacomakis, Sean De Silva, who, I mean, I think the biggest thing Columbus fans will remember about him is he did the whole Spider-Man mask thing and then did the Spider-Man thing back like the next match or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's gone to St. Louis and then he left St. Louis now and he's in like Turkey, I think. So. How things change.
Oh man. I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, Derik, you have anything else for Tyler?
How much? This is just totally random, but I saw recently online everyone's been comparing beer prices at NFL stadiums. How much does a beer cost in Atlanta? And the reason I ask is because I know you have those like dynamic. I don't know what they exactly call, but like the value prices for certain things. Is there beer involved in that? And if so, how much does one cost?
So this is a really cool thing about Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It doesn't matter if you are going to an Atlanta United game, a Falcons game, or like a big concert. Like, I mean, obviously, like Beyonce's been there recently. Me and my wife went to Post Malone earlier this year. Any of these big events that they have, they don't ever change the food and drink prices.
That's cool.
And they are the cheapest, like by far. As far as beer, I mean, you can get, and they serve a lot of different ones. You can get beer for $5, you know, $5 or $6.
Jesus Christ.
All the way up to maybe I think the highest that I recall is probably about $8 or $9. You get mixed drinks for, you know, 10 to 14, depending on what you're getting. The hot dogs are $2. They have like, I mean, and they have like food. I've actually told people this. If you are in Atlanta around the time of a game, especially like an Atlanta United game, because the tickets are never that expensive, and you just want something to do, you can go to a game and eat and like feed your family for cheaper than you would probably go to like a restaurant anywhere around the bends, because the food is incredibly cheap, man. It's insane. So like I have 4 kids. My wife can take all 4 of our kids, because I'm up in the press box, but she'll go with our 4 kids and they'll eat for like under $50. And like full on meals.
Haslam's, if you or anybody in the front office ever decides to listen to this, this is what we need. We need this.
Honestly.
It is a very it's something that like we get spoiled for sure. I'll be the first to say, like, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a wonderful place, and I mean, I wish the team was playing better. Well, both teams, because the Falcons suck too, but whatever. But they do take care of the fans inside the stadium. It's really cool.
I love that.
Nice.
So jealous.
I'm jealous of y'all team right now. So
I mean, there's nothing to be jealous. We suck.
Yeah, we're on quite
y'all are still in the playoff.
That's
barely
fair.
holding on.
Yeah. Tyler, thank you so much for joining in. If you can, I saw your message. I want to talk about after we end the show here. So I'll put you backstage really quick while we do our outro. Tyler, thanks so much for popping in, man. Derik, that's it, man. That's the show.
1-1. I think that what Ali's going to score, only because he played in the Club World Cup and they had to play on a lot of that turf, grass, composite type stuff. So I think he's going to be a little more ready for that than probably most of our team, just given track record overall. And that's all I got. I don't know who's going to score for Atlanta. For anybody betting, don't.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
Just don't do it.
No. Derik, my friend, that's been fun. That's been the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Obviously, without your support, this show would not be happening. Check out our new merch store on our Twitter page and whatnot. You guys can give us a follow on Get a Steak at Texas Roadhouse. Yes, Get a Steak at Texas Roadhouse.
Always.
Love that. You guys can follow us on social media on Instagram at the Wisemen Say Podcast, on Twitter and Blue Sky at Wisemen Pod. You guys can follow Derik on social media
at Funky Moses 17.
I'm gonna bring Tyler back. Tyler, where can the lovely people find you at?
ATL Pilgrim, pretty much everywhere. And then Scarves and Spikes. It's actually Scarves, the letter N Spikes on Twitter, X, whatever we call it nowadays.
There it is. You guys can follow me on social media at Fisher Tyler __ on Twitter, or on Blue Sky at FisherTyler.bsky.social, whatever that is. You guys can follow Jerald on social media at Jerald _Lucas96. And that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. Derik, my friend, as tradition goes, Wisemen say,
only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Hug your loved ones. Go Crew.
Go Crew.
Don't go Crew.